One of the things I try to teach my children, and I think most of us try to teach our children, is there's no shame in losing. Shame only comes when you don't try. And in fact, it's not always even if you don't try. Sometimes, if you choose not to participate for the right reasons, there's no shame in that. But if you choose not to participate for fear of losing, that's shameful. And it's a very similar thing when you choose to carry a firearm to defend yourself and your family. If you choose not to carry a firearm for the right reasons, like you have conscientious objections to carrying a firearm or committing harm against another human being, you would rather be harmed yourself, I can understand that. There's no shame in that at all. Now, I'm a little less understanding of you allowing your family to be harmed, but, if you have other adults in your family, I hope they make a choice to defend themselves and defend the rest of your family while you conscientiously object. But it's kind of like when James Yeager tells the story of how he's had about 36 of his students that have been in a deadly force situation. Out of those 36 students, only one was murdered. He was murdered in front of his family because he wasn't carrying a gun. And James Yeager calls that a forfeit. He said, I had 35 wins and one forfeit. Now, I'm not saying out of those 35 people that were in deadly force situations that they ever had to fire their guns. Statistically, probably very few, if any of them, had to, but that's not the point. The point is that one guy that forfeited. Like I said before, the only shame comes when you choose not to participate for fear of losing. Now, there's a lot of reasons why someone might choose not to carry a gun. It might be bulky, heavy, it's uncomfortable. We've all been through that. We all understand what you're talking about. But when you're trying to defend your life and trying to defend the life of your family, I think you can overcome those things. So to me, those really aren't good reasons to not carry. Those are things you just need to overcome. But there's one reason that's even worse for not carrying. And that one reason that's worse than them all is that reason that falls under the idea of forfeiture, that idea of not participating for fear that you might lose. Because so many people are told nowadays that, carrying a gun is dangerous. You're more likely to harm yourself if you own a gun than you are someone else. Many, many times more likely. Well, that's just fake math. That's stupid math. That's just preying on people's inability to figure statistics. Because let's say if you don't own a gun, well, then you're zero chance that you're going to be killed by your own gun. If you own a gun, even if it's 1 in a billion chance that you will, it's still exponentially higher than the 0% chance of the person that doesn't own a gun. So those are just fake numbers. Don't pay attention to those. But so many people are convinced that they would not be able to prevail in a self-defense situation. Maybe it's their own shortcomings, it's their own insecurities about their own ability to perform, etc. But they're just convinced that even if they had a gun on them, if something bad happened, they would not be able to prevail. They would not be able to do what they needed to do. These people have just been brainwashed. They've been brainwashed into a sheep mentality that they couldn't possibly defend themselves. And that's just not true. The vast majority of times you would ever need your firearm, just having it is going to win the battle. Just having it, just showing it, fight over. You're never going to even have to use it. And if you do have to use it, the vast majority of people that have to use their firearm in self-defense are successful. Trained or not trained, they are successful. And these people aren't magic. They're not special. They're no more special than you or I. They just did what they had to do in a bad situation. And you can do that too. So don't allow yourself to be brainwashed in thinking you can't defend yourself or that it's somehow too dangerous to have a gun. Learn the facts. If you feel uncomfortable with your own abilities, get some training. Find people like James Yeager. Learn how to handle the gun. Build your confidence. That's all you need, just some confidence. So when it comes to your life and the life of your family, don't forfeit for fear of failure. Do everything you can to win, because it really doesn't take all that much. If you just put a little effort into it, I think you'll find out you can do what you have to do. You ain't even my real dad.